So let's get right to it. I know your time is very valuable, and so I'll keep this to no longer than 30 minutes. Put any questions that you have in the chat. We're actually taking part in part two of this presentation. So the first one was a couple of weeks ago, but we're talking about content marketing, the ever-present approach to leveraging your content for ultimate impact for your patients and profit for your practice. So we're going to talk about that and get into the details of it. And there's also another webinar coming up which is on June 9th, which is all about the sort of techie side of creating videos in a very easy manner. So if you're not registered for that, we can get you registered for that as well. So we are going to be talking about content marketing today. I wanted to really just take some time to thank Healthwise for bringing this to you. They are obviously someone who has great tasting products, and we appreciate them very much. They have worked to bring this webinar series to you, and I appreciate that very much. And for anyone who doesn't know me, I think probably most people have been on a webinar of mine before, but I get the frustrations and the joy of your practice. I'm in the trenches just like you. Some days you come in, everything's going to be hunky-dory, and you're all ready for a great day, and then explosions start happening and you feel like at the end of the day you hardly got anything accomplished. And then we work really hard to be there for our patients, but I get all the joys, I get the frustrations. And so today we're going to talk about something that can bring you and your patients a lot of joy. Quick review, from the previous one, we talked a lot about what content marketing is all about, why it works for physicians, and why many competitors are ignoring it. I also went through some of the various right and wrong ways to do content marketing, and also identified where you can find great content ideas so that you never feel like you have a stale conversation. Your conversation is always fresh and current, and it also attracts prospective patients. You don't want anything that's old conversation. So although we do a lot of planning, we always want to make sure we have everything planned out, and then we're also able to relate to what's going on in the moment. So that was a quick review. If you missed that one, I can send that link as well for that webinar, and it's also out there on my YouTube channel for Weight Loss Practice Builders. So anyhow, that's what we went over the last time. And today we're going to really identify how to decide which platform that should be your primary communication platform. And it's really not the same for everyone, even though we think it may be. Also understand how to take that one platform and leverage it into multiple other platforms to increase your reach. And then really 3 different ways to design a plan that will work for you and your team. And finally, I'll go through just a couple of quick case studies about how this can work for you. And sometimes we think of content marketing as something that has to take a long period of time. One of the case studies is one that's just really, I show details just from January of this year to present. So we'll go through that also at the very end. The benefits of content marketing is that you're ever present. So when you're sleeping, when you're out of town, when you're on vacation, when your phones are busy, you're out there for people to find you, and it makes it really a beautiful thing. It has a short and a long-term impact. We've talked about this before, but it's an asset that you have out there that works for you in the short term, and it's also out there forever. So people can continuously find it and access you and find you and your services. It also creates that authority that is really important for people who want to utilize your services. They need to understand you as the authority and trust you and your advice and the services and products you offer. It gives you an opportunity to help others 24/7. You can take some of this content marketing, and I know we create online programs as well that helps people be able to access it no matter what time, day or night, in membership sites or the like. And it's also an additional way for you to have sales 24/7. It creates new leads for you 24/7, and it also makes your conversations so much easier for those consults and converting them into a sale. So sometimes, especially when you're out there quite a bit with content marketing, people come in, they already know they want to work with you. They just need to understand how you work with people, or they may even have seen some of your products and services online, and they come in or they call you all ready to move forward. So it actually saves you time. It also increases, that whole conversion process. It increases the number of conversions. And I could go on and on about the benefits. I believe in this so much because I see it work over time and also, like I say, in the short term. So when you're looking at which platform should be your primary communication platform. Obviously, there are so many to pick from. There's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter, billboards, radio. You can see all of these. You can write books. You can just have your brochures. You're doing some reach in terms of getting some traffic through your door via referring physicians or referring health systems or referring groups, women's groups, doing talks. All that is out there. There are so many different ways that you can reach out to people and bring them into your fold, bring them into your practice and create raving fans of them so they're telling a lot of other people. All of these can be very effective. Some of these are super expensive. And if you are like me, one of the things I hate doing is spending a lot of money on something that brings zero return on investment. So I'm very wary of that. And I have to say, just like most people out there, I have done my fair share of bright, shiny object, paying for big campaigns that have big promises and at the end of the day really didn't bring any new patients in. That makes me absolutely crazy. So this is something that's under your control, and everybody shouldn't be doing, you don't have to do the same platform. You don't have to copy anyone else. In fact, it's better if you're not doing that. So it's something that's really important, but you want to make sure it's something that you pick a platform, start with one if you have none out there. If you have a lot of them out there, then pick which one is working best for you and focus there. If you focus your efforts, you're actually going to see a better return. And then also, I know this is sort of contradictory to what I just said, but once you get that platform down, then it's so much easier to leverage it, which is another part of what we're going to talk about today. All those platforms can be totally overwhelming. So then what happens is people usually either outsource it to somebody and just trust that they're going to take care of it for them. They may be spending a fortune and getting no return on investment, or it creates paralysis and you really don't do anything because you're not really sure where to start. So it is very overwhelming. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you're not alone. The best choice in terms of selecting your platform is first, pick the platform where your ideal patients hang out. Now, that seems like a no-brainer, but a lot of weight loss physicians and practices and practitioners work with a particular population that they may like to work with the most. It might be someone with a common diagnosis. It might be some like to work even though it's weight loss, they like to work with those that are in menopause or have diabetes, or even some like to work with certain age brackets, whether it's adolescents, children, families, anything like that. So figure out who your ideal client is and then really go to the platform where they hang out. This used to be a lot easier. So you could just say, oh, most of my people are on Facebook, I'm going to go there. But the algorithms have changed so much that a lot of times you can't really trust a platform like that. And even more so, a lot of other people aren't trusting that because of all the changes. The things that I see right now working for us and also for a lot of the practices that I work with, the best ones that are working are YouTube and Instagram and still some Facebook. But not only that, the more important thing is having it on a platform where you can control it. So you always want to link things back also to your website. So that's where leveraging today is going to come into play. So those are what's working really the best. And it's not just getting content out there, it's really optimizing it. And so selecting those keywords. And if anyone ever wants a list of how to pick what your keywords are, just email me. I'll have my email at the end and I can share with you what those definitely should be for what it is that you're posting. But the best choice is going to be the platform that they're hanging out on and the one that you enjoy the most, because if you and your team enjoy it the most, you're going to actually use it. You understand it better. It's going to be easier for you to get content out there. Then it's going to be something that can be leveraged, as we're going to talk about. So for me, I don't really get TikTok. I don't like TikTok. It's not a platform that I like at all. So I am not going to go there. I used to say the same thing about Instagram, but now I actually like Instagram better than Facebook. So for me, I'm doing way more posting on Instagram. And my favorite, I love YouTube. So anyhow, you have to decide where are they hanging out, and then also what platform do you enjoy? Because that means that you're going to get something accomplished. Because as we know, the simpler something is, the more likely you're going to actually follow through. So those are the ways that you can pick what your best platform is. If you ever want to chat about that, or you want me to take a peek at your platforms, just let me know. But that's the best way to get your content out there and to also make sure that you're going to be consistent, which is what we talked about before. So that's the reasoning why. The why is because you want to reach those ideal patients where they are hanging out, where they're comfortable. And also you want to, like I say, use a platform that you like, that you're going to actually follow through on and be consistent. So leverage is, obviously, we all know, is using something to its maximum advantage. So if I'm going to do some work, I want to be able to leverage that. If I'm going to create something that is really cool, or something that is content I know my patients will like, or my clients will like, I want to use it to its maximum advantage. And this is where you can really start to see roots growing and an impact in your search engine optimization. You can start to show up in all the searches. When you take your content, you leverage it, and you also optimize it, that is a recipe for success. So you want to use something to its maximum advantage. And some synonyms for leverage is obviously authority, which, as we talked about last time, is really important. You need to show the authority that you have in your field with all your training, and why what it is that you offer works for people. And you can show that, not really showing off yourself necessarily, but just showing your knowledge. That's not going to get you anywhere. Really showing your knowledge and showing testimonials and success stories is what's going to help build that authority the best. It also is clout. It's your influence on others, and it's your ability to sway them into selecting you over your top competitor. So if you can take your content, you can leverage it, and you can create these authority, clout, influence, and sway, it is going to serve you very well, not only now, but in the future, as I mentioned. Authority, as I mentioned, is something that can be viewed in a negative way. I'm not referring to authority in a negative way where you're just the best and you're talking all about yourself. People don't like to work with those that just talk about themselves. People want to come into your practice. They want to talk about what their goals are, what their struggles are, and they want you to listen. But they also need to know that you have the answers. And so that's the type of authority that I'm talking about, but not that one that's in a bad or detrimental way. So when we're talking to prospective patients, we don't want to be talking all about ourselves. We want to be listening, and then we want to turn that around into how we or you are the ideal person to help them with those struggles. So that's how authority works to your benefit. So how do you do this? How do you create this, and how do you create leverage? So what you want to do, and this is a recipe, like I say, that works and is rinse and repeat, and there may be changes to algorithms, but the underlying principles are the same, and they stand the test of time. But first, you want to create meaningful posts and content that serves those you want to help the most. So when I say that, what you need to be doing is thinking about what it is that what are their biggest barriers, and then how they can move past that. You want to make sure that you are sharing and serving 80% of the time and selling about 20% of the time. So you want to create meaningful posts. So what does that sound like? So that meaningful post is something about, let's say, for a bariatric surgeon or for a bariatrician, people have questions. They wonder what, they have hear gimmicks. They want to know about intermittent fasting. What are the benefits? They want to know about cooking, how to do that meal prep in an easy way. They want to know, what are the essential vitamins that I need to be on if I'm on a VLCD? What is carbohydrate sensitivity and insulin resistance? What is, can you kind of break down for me what prebiotics and probiotics are? I hear all this out there, but I don't know what it is. So you listen to your patients, and then you create very meaningful posts. Think about how it is that you respond to people. Do you do best on video? Do you do best writing something? Do you do best with a graphic or with something like that? You can come up with the content, or I know in Bariatric Business Boss, I create content and have content in there for people to use very easily. But you want to come up with those meaningful posts and try to shake it up a little bit and address the topics that are the most difficult for your patients to overcome, what their barriers are, what it is that they're asking you about every single day. It may be the latest appetite suppressant. You can share your view on that. It might be you or one of your team going through one of your weight loss programs and kind of mapping that out. It could be a challenge that you come up with. It could be anything. And we're going to talk about different ways of easily creating this in a minute. But you want to serve, 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 and then sell. So 80% serving your clients and then 20% selling, and then you just want to rinse and repeat that. You do want to post in more than one location. So I say start somewhere, but start with one platform and then use that same content and post it on other platforms as well. And you want to make sure that you have authority in your bio on those platforms and that they always, always know how to work with you. So a link to your website, email for your office, a phone number, a free content, something else, a freebie that you're giving away, but you want to make sure that you create your content, serve, sell, and then post it in more than one location. And sometimes we think, oh, I have to come up with content all the time. I do social media calendars with fresh ideas every single month for Bariatric Business Boss members. But a lot of times you can repurpose the good stuff. So look back through things that you've posted before. Take a peek at what it is that worked really well and repurpose that. Change it up a little bit. You may even create a post and say, hey, I was rereading this post from 2 years ago and it is really good. It still serves us today. So enjoy. And then you put a link to there. You're building backlinks into your content. You're also having content to put out there, but repurpose what it is that you have. I work with physicians too who may want to repurpose things into patient educational materials. They put it into their newsletters that they send out, and they also may repurpose it into an ebook or a book that they can sell on Amazon. There are so many different ways to repurpose great content. And then what you're doing is you're doing your very own split testing. So if you see something's working really well, advertise what organically resonated the most. So if you see something had a lot of engagement, you found that it was something that resonated with your ideal patients, then if you're going to take out an ad, then advertise that content because you already did your own split testing and you will save yourself a lot of money by testing it for free, essentially organically. The other thing you can do is outsource with specific goals and measure what matters. So what I mean there is, if you're going to outsource this, that's fine. A lot of times, usually people in their business are at a few different stages. And so at the very beginning stages, you may be the one who's creating everything. You may be the one who's posting it, or you're sharing that with some of your team members. Over time, you may get to the point, which is where you probably hope you are, that you are serving so many patients, you really don't have time to do that. So in that situation, then you're either spending your time or you're spending your money. And either way, whether you're spending your time or whether you're spending your money, you want to make sure that you're doing that in a meaningful way that's bringing back a true return on investment. So if you are outsourcing, I do recommend that you help. I know I work with practices and I help set up their social media, what they're going to be covering. I help them create it, all that sort of thing. But if you're going to outsource, you want to make sure that you have specific goals of what the purpose is for the content, and then measure those every single week or month at the very at least monthly. So I track things here even weekly. So you want to make sure that you're outsourced with specific goals in mind and measure what matters and help guide that content. There's nothing worse than paying somebody a lot of money, and then when you go look at your post, it doesn't even support the type of weight loss program that you're promoting to your patients. You look out there and that's general information that they could get anywhere. So you want to make sure that you do have some control over that. Then when you are looking, let's say you're doing it in-house because you're at the point where you're going to be doing most of this content. I personally like to do that as well because I like to develop a system for everything I do. And so I can help develop that system. And then I move on to the next thing and I can kind of utilize my team and delegate a bit. But 3 ways to design a plan that works for you and your team. The first one is themes. And I've done this before. And themes is really like taking a week, picking a theme. So maybe your theme this week is menopause. Maybe your theme this week is the importance of hydration. Maybe your theme this week is all about sleep. And you focus all your posts for that week on that particular theme. For Weight Loss Practice Builder, I do a theme for the month. So one month might be, building your referral program. You can do it as a weekly thing or you can do it as a whole month. So you pick your theme and then you create your posts in a variety of manner, whether it's video or written or a graphic, and you then post that. And people, when I work with practice, they get very concerned about I'm over posting. People do not see everything that you post. So you won't overpost. Even if you posted 7 times a week. And you probably know practices that do. You don't have to do that, but I do recommend at the minimum you're posting 3 times a week. So you can pick a theme, first of all. Secondly, you can just create a monthly calendar. This is what I do for Bariatric Business Boss members. I create a calendar with links that have recipes, and we have fitness graphics, and we have topics for them to discuss. And then we have that readily available for them. And then I have a second page that has many more themes. So you can have a monthly calendar where you just outline it, and you can create this ahead of time. You can schedule things out. And then once you have that out for a period, like if you have it scheduled for a week or a month, you can kind of breathe a little bit easier. And you can also then have fun with it and then just fill in with anything that's going on in your practice, whether it's something you're celebrating for one of your team members, whether it's a new team member who's at your practice, whether it's a patient who hit a big maintain their weight for an extended period of time, or somebody who accomplished one of their big goals, somebody who went out on a vacation, was able to zip line. You can then intersperse all of those fun things. The last way I don't recommend is just on the fly, and this is how most people do it. But it creates a lot of anxiety because you're always thinking, what am I going to post today? What am I going to post today? Or your team is wondering like, oh, I should have something out there and I don't have anything out there. On the fly is probably one of the most common ways that people manage their social media. And it's the most disruptive way to do it. And it's the most anxiety producing. So I don't really recommend that. Once you start getting this sort of either theme or your monthly calendar going, it becomes so much easier. I actually have planning meetings, and sometimes you think you can plan too far out, but I'll plan 6 months of my content. Doesn't mean I have it all created, but I have it planned what my idea is. And then my mind is always working towards how can I best serve those that I want to work with and that I love working with? How can I best serve them? And then I create the content based on what's going on at that time, feedback that I'm getting, and I go from there. So your best ideas are going to come from your patients and your team who works directly with your patients as well. So themes and monthly calendars tend to work the best for people. And always there are other principles we're going to talk about, but there are other principles that you want to keep in mind as you're doing that, so that you are turning people into someone who wants to work with you, with your services and your products. So here's just a variety of them. You can see the water theme up on the upper left, and then sort of a monthly calendar, and then having graphics and things and testimonials always coming through your door so that you can always be including those as well. Another way I've done it is when you talk about themes, you can do it for the week, or we also do themes each day of the week so people know what to expect. So on Tuesdays, we do Transformation Tuesday. It always is a fresh testimonial, or sometimes even a repurposed one if it's awesome. We do weekend planning and recipes mainly on Fridays. We also do different themes in terms of fitness, and we'll pick a day of the week and we'll have a different theme that follows through. Every Monday is one theme, every Tuesday is another theme, or if you're just doing 3 days a week, you can do it that way. So your themes can run on a weekly basis, or it could be a similar theme that you're following on a particular day of the month. The bottom line is to test it out, see what works best for you. And once you get it down, then if you want to outsource it, you can kind of do that. I like to train my team members and they manage it because they can fill it in. And so having that available is a great way to plan ahead. The principles I was talking to you about, the principles for success in terms of getting this going in a bigger way, is number one, consistency, including brand awareness. So that means posting at least 3 times a week. You need to be consistent. I post more than that. You must include you need to have your logo and your website on any of your graphics, or at least your website. You always want to make sure that you are including brand awareness, because if somebody's sharing that on their page, then, or you're asking your team to share it, which is a good thing, it gets out there in a bigger way. And people don't think about that on their own. You actually have to ask them if they're sharing it. You want to make sure that your brand is right there so people can see where this great content or graphic is coming from. You want to be the authority that you are, own that, and be your unique self. I love working with so many varied physicians and so many different models that are successful out there for working with patients, but be the authority. And those that are the most successful are those that let their personality shine through. If you're not somebody who you think is particularly good on video, which I can almost always, we can always figure out a way to, a lot of times we're our own worst critic. And so you probably are, you just need to do more of it to get comfortable with it. But we can always come up with different ways to share your brand and show your uniqueness. You do want to show up differently. Like I mentioned, be creative and have fun with it. If you have things planned out at least a month in advance, you can add the fun in a much easier way. You're not so stressed about what you're going to be posting. Have a goal for what you want to accomplish. If you're doing a particular theme, or you're doing a particular series of posts and your goal is to increase the number of patients walking through your door, or sale of a particular product, sale of an online program, sale of an on-site program, have that goal in mind, share it with your team, make sure they know so that they can be tracking that. And I track a lot of the results weekly and report that back to the team. So if we have a certain number of new patients we were interested in, a certain number of consults, certain number of sales in the retail area, we have those goals, and then we track the results and share that, and then come up together with even more creative ways to increase our results. And have a plan, like I mentioned, that will accommodate the spontaneity. So those are the principles for success. I wanted to share, like I mentioned, a couple of we're getting to the end of the 30 minutes here, but I wanted to share a couple of scenarios. So the first one is our practice is Center for Weight Loss Success. We're here in Newport News, and we have been consistently posting, actually more than 5 years now. We have 350 videos optimized and leveraged on YouTube. And what I mean by that is we have the videos out there. We have them transcribed into blogs on our website. We have we use the most popular ones. We actually do, we haven't really had to do any advertising, but we have the videos out there. They're optimized with the correct keywords and hashtags, and then we leverage them on every platform. And we actually are on just about, we don't do TikTok because, like I said, I don't really appreciate that. TikTok is not really my gig, so we don't have it there, but we do get a fair amount of interest from Pinterest coming through. And I also use LinkedIn and a couple other ones. So we have 350 videos. They're optimized and leveraged. One of our videos actually has 57,000 views. We now have greater than 1,000 subscribers, and we have thousands of views on many of our other ones. I love to look at them and see what's performing the best. And like I say, if I was going to do an ad, that's what I would use. I do the no-cost split testing. And actually last year, I didn't actually do any paid advertising in 2020. We were shut down for 3 months for surgery. We maximized our other revenue streams. We pivoted just like all of you did. And I was still able to almost maintain our same caseload. So it's one of those things that had I not had this authority marketing and this content marketing out there, I would have never been able to do that. We have a Barrier Business Boss member. I started a specific separate program with her. The practice, and it began in January. They had 0 subscribers at the time, built out an entire YouTube channel. They now have 59 subscribers, and they have 18 videos out there. They're all optimized and leveraged, 3 social media posts per week that we help with, and the average number of new patients has gone from 30 per month to greater than 70 as of last month. Now, is that all content marketing? No. Is there a lot of other things that play into that, such as great services, referrals? Sometimes it can be your location, referral sources from physicians and your patients, but it is one of those things that when patients come in, they say, I see you everywhere. I see you out there all the time. And I love your testimonials. I love what it is that you're posting, but it can make a huge difference in the number of new patients. And I can guarantee your competition, most of them are not doing anything like this because, number one, it is a fair amount of work, but once it's there, it's working for you all the time. The return on investment is exponential because it's over years. So of course, excellent services and referrals helped with that. It's not just the content marketing, as I mentioned, but there is some real traction that happens, and I've seen it work for lots of different businesses, and it's something that I firmly believe in. I don't promote anything that I don't believe in. And for a lot of people, I've been asked, can you look at our social media plan? Can you help with that? And I wanted to do something special. So I'm going to have something coming up. And if your social media plan needs some resuscitation, perhaps you just want to shake it up. You don't really feel like you're getting a return on investment. You're not really having a plan in place. I'm actually going to be holding a 5-day social media resuscitation challenge. And I've never done one of these before, but I'm really excited to do it. And it's going to be complimentary. I love just doing things to help people get some traction and find the same passion and get some results. So it's going to start Monday, May 24th. And I'm going to send the link to sign up with the webinar replay when I send this out. It's basically going to be, I'm going to go live for 5 days in a row, but it's all going to be housed in a membership site that you're going to have access to for 7 days after it ends. So you can be there live. If you're not going to be able to make it live, you can watch the replay. It's going to have something going on in terms of some instruction and hands-on, 5 days, all at noon Eastern time for the 5 days beginning Monday, May 24th. I'm going to have helpful workbooks and things that you and your team can use to actually take what I go over and implement it immediately. You'll have access to it for another 7 days after the challenge ends. And it's going to be a lot of fun, but it's going to be a way for you to help spruce up your social media, give it a little bit of a resuscitation, and be challenged to do something pretty significant in just 5 days. So I'm super excited to bring that to you. And I will send the link to sign up for that if you're interested with the replay to everybody. If you need any help or you wanted to reach out or have questions, I have really been excited. I've talked to so many weight loss business owners out there, some bariatricians, of all sorts of different models. I have spent a lot of time doing some complimentary meetings with people, and I really love it. So if you want to have a chat, give me a call. If you've got everything handled on your own, kudos to you. I applaud you for that, and I'm glad you enjoy this as well. And I'm just here for you if you need anything. And I want to thank you for your time. I know how valuable it is, and I will send the replay. I'll send the link to sign up for that social media resuscitation challenge if you are interested.